Hello and good morning and welcome to SWIM, SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. Here's hoping you're having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you, but it's morning for me. I have a message, but before I get into my message, I want to tell a little quick story about some first times. I'm reflecting right now and I'm thinking the first thing is the day I drove the school bus for the first time. That's in my book, My Mother's Fifth Child. By the way, you should go and get that. It's available on Amazon. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy that story. But it has to do with my first day of driving a school bus as a teenager. I was nervous. I was afraid. I wasn't familiar with it. I had taken the training and everything. But the first day I drove, man, it was an amazing experience. But I got through it. Second thing was moving to South Florida from North Carolina. That's also in the book. Go and get it. My Mother's Fifth Child. You can get it. But I was afraid. I was going to a new city, new state. I was going to a new job, and I just didn't know anything or anyone. I was fearful, but I made it. Also, even going out of the country for the first time to live, which was not too long ago, I was, terrified. I didn't speak the language. I never rode public transportation. I just wasn't familiar with, the culture at all. I was fearful. But I had one thing that I know is required in order to overcome fear. It's called courage and determination and a good heart. So all of those times, there were many others. I recorded a CD for the first time. I was nervous. I was afraid. I mean, there are countless times where I pursued something where I was initially hesitant at first, but I overcame the fear and was successful in moving forward. Which brings me to what I believe my message is going to lend itself to. I was talking to my son and we shared this story about these two farmers who lived next door to each other. They were friends for a very long time and they used to exchange their goods. One had lots of products that they would both go and sell at the market, but because they were close friends and lived close to each other, they would just exchange their goods amongst themselves and they would sell the rest of them to the market. Well, years went by and one of the farmers got desperate. Something happened to where he thought he needed to do something that would betray his friendship to his farmer friend. So he stole chickens from his farmer friend. And his farmer friend that he stole from found out about it, but he never told him he knew he stole from him. But he'd stole from him and eventually stopped talking to him. They were not talking for a long time. And he saw him a few months later because he used to come over a lot and, they would do their thing. And he saw him at the market one day and he said, "Hey man, where you been? You okay?" He said, "Well, yeah, I have some other family on the other side of town and I've been getting my goods from there, but I'll eventually come back to see you." The farmer knew that he had stolen the chickens, but he never confronted him about it. He wanted him to do the right thing and the best thing and, admit it, but he never took accountability. So years went by and they never saw each other again. They never exchanged goods again because of that betrayal. The farmer who was stolen from, really didn't feel too good about it. He was hurt. He was broken. And the farmer that betrayed his friend, he had to live with knowing that I can't face him. I stole from him and he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the farmer knew already. But years and years went by. They never saw each other again. They were never friends. Right next door neighbors. They just didn't. And eventually the chicken thief passed away. And before he passed away, he was confessing with some of his family members that was at his bedside, and he told them, about why he and his longtime friend had not been speaking to each other. And they asked him, well, what happened? He said, well, I betrayed him. I stole from him, and he never knew. And I just couldn't face him anymore. I was afraid if I told him that he would reject me, and I just let the friendship just go, and I just moved on with my life, but I was never comfortable with it. And so he passed on. And then a little while later, the family was talking to the friend that was betrayed, and they actually told him the story because he asked them to apologize for him. And of course they tried to apologize and they told the friend what happened, and he told them, "I knew the whole time." And he said, really? He said, he died thinking you didn't know. He said, of course I knew, but I wanted to give him the opportunity to take accountability for his betrayal. I never stopped being his friend, and I never closed that door. That door was always open, but his betrayal is what kept him away from our friendship. And it wasn't my responsibility to confront him because, that's who he is, and I'm not going to, the story, of how to respond to people who, what does the Bible said, who misuse you, who despitefully use you. So they ask him, well, what would you would have wanted him to do? He said, well, I prayed for the day that I would come out to my gate and my gatekeeper would tell me that these chickens were returned and the money that I lost was returned, and that he had a message that he had lied, he had stolen from me, he had betrayed our friendship, and he wanted to apologize and take accountability for that and wanted to be friends again. Because there is something called repent. I discovered that word a while back, and it really does work. I am a living witness. When you have not been so good by certain people and you sincerely apologize and you do the right thing, you can move on. It doesn't matter how they take it. So that's what he said. If he had just simply taken accountability and responsibility for what's wrongdoing, that's what forgiveness is for, for people who truly mean well. He was afraid that he would be rejected. And I'll say this, whenever you are afraid, you find yourself being a fear. FEAR, I learned that stands for false evidence appearing real. And we're not given the spirit of fear. I believe that in my heart. That's what the Bible says. And it makes sense. We're not created in that image. We are supposed to be bold and confident in who we are. And we're supposed to let our word be our bond. Who we are should speak for itself. We should mean what we say. We should say what we mean. And we should be transparent and sincere whenever we interact with, our fellow brothers and sisters. So with that being said, fear is, again, false evidence appearing real. We have to find the confidence that's naturally inside of us to overcome those things that we're hesitant about. And one thing I know about when a mind is made up, when we want to do the right thing, it doesn't matter whether if someone rejects us or not. It doesn't matter how they receive it. I say every time at the end of my podcast, find someone you need to say, I love you, show it, mean it, let it be true, say it. It doesn't matter if it's received or not. Someone will take your most kindest moments and treat it like trash, and that's okay. That's not your responsibility. When you do good and you do right, you don't have to worry about how it's received. I'll never forget this. I had some legal issues a few years ago, and I initially consulted an attorney, and this is the one thing that stands out about that whole experience. Here's what the attorney said to me. He said, if you didn't do anything, you don't have anything to worry about. And that stuck with me because I knew in my heart that I was, sincere with what I was approaching. And if I had remembered that, I wouldn't have allowed the fear and the concern and the anxiety that crept in over time to even control me. But that's why we live, and that's why we live and learn. With that being said, fear should not be the reason you don't do the right and the best thing. There's something about good rest. When we are sincere in our heart, we're transparent, we're truthful, and we're honest, and we're loyal, we can sleep better. And we don't have to worry about being rejected when we do the right thing. When I made up in my mind I was going to lose that weight, it didn't matter if whether I had a personal trainer or the right kind of protein powder or the right kind of gym equipment at home. It didn't matter. I knew what I needed to do, and I did what I needed to do. And it was just look myself in the mirror and say, you don't eat this and you do eat that. And you exercise on the days you don't feel like exercising. When you do the right thing somehow comes to you. You plant a good seed, you receive a good harvest. With that being said, fear, F-E-A-R, it's false evidence appearing real. And if you find yourself fearful for whatever reason, examine yourself, examine your motives, and find the courage to move forward anyway, because we have to be accountable for ourselves. We can fool people, we can trick people, we can lie, and we can think people don't know. The truth is, we know. We know when we have not done the right thing. And that's where separation comes. We think doors are closed because people move on with their lives, but they're not. You know, our hardened hearts is what make doors seem like they're closed. But when we do the right thing, it doesn't matter. The world is open to us when we're truthful and we're sincere. With that being said, I'll say it again. Find someone you need to say, I love you to. Don't just say it, show it, mean it, let it be true. And even if it's not accepted or received, or even if your goodness is rejected, do the right thing anyway. Okay? Till the next time. Ciao.